Good morning and welcome to Waking Up California with Diego Martinez, candidate for Congress, District 7, Elk Grove, Galt, Southern Sacramento, YOLO. That's it. We are running. We are getting our paperwork in this week, so we will be official. We will be on the ballot for Congress, District 7, California, Southern Sacramento, Elk Grove, Galt. That's my new district. That's where we're running. It's a heavy Democratic district, but we believe that anything is possible, and we believe that we can win. Why would you say that when you're running a dramatic Democratic district? It's very simple. If you think you can run for governor of California, it doesn't get more Democratic than the whole state of California, does it? So when you're looking at districts, you shouldn't look at the party lines, but you should definitely look at your abilities and ability to cross over and hit the people in that area or that district where you can actually make a difference. Election day will be in June. So how does all this work? Get candidates who are all running in a election, a primary, basically a general election. The top two continue forward to the primaries, and that election will be held in November. As of now, the primary elections to get to the primaries will be in June. So we have a lot of work and not a lot of time ahead of us to start building our ground game, our need, and why we are doing this. A heavy Democratic district is a good challenge because I believe California people are sick and tired of what's going on, not only in California, but in the United States, not only in the United States, but especially what's going on with Congress and our elected officials who have done absolutely nothing for any of us in the United States. I saw a thing the other day and it said, build back better. How about we just build it back and leave it alone where it was? But nobody ever talks about that. I haven't seen no build back better hats, t-shirts, but you do see a lot of Let's Go Brandon flags in every district. I think Let's Go Brandon, it became a tagline, which allows both parties to identify how they feel about our president. So what does Let's Go Brandon mean? And this is funny because I've been asked this quite a bit. And everybody saw, does he not know that our president's name is Biden? Yes, it is. So it's not a racist. It's not a bad thing. It wasn't some guy who his name is Brandon, who loved the Second Amendment, who went to seven different states shooting up people and never got arrested. That's what I heard the other day. I'm like, wait, Republicans are more about law and order than Democrats, but you're going to say that that's what it means? So what does Let's Go Brandon mean, and where did it come from? Let's Go Brandon came from NASCAR. That's where it came from. So Brandon is one of NASCAR's drivers, and everybody started saying, F Joe Biden. The announcer said, they're saying, everybody's chanting, let's go Brandon. That's where the saying of let's go Brandon came from. That's where it's attached to the president of the United States. Is F Joe Biden's really what let's go Brandon stands for. That's out. Now, what does Build Back Better mean? That's a very good question. The real question is, what does it mean to you? Because everybody's definition of things are different. So when you talk about Build Back Better, I think they were talking mostly, when I look at this, was about COVID-19 when it hit. Donald Trump didn't get elected. Joe Biden came in saying, I am going to fix. We're going to get rid of COVID-19. There's a cure for it. I'm going to have a cure within the first 6 months. Whatever ridiculous statement he made about it. We're going to rebuild what we lost because of COVID. We're going to rebuild America, and we're going to be strong again. Our biggest question was, where have you been for the last 4 years? Where we have more jobs, more American-made products, more America first than any other president in a long time. For once, we had a president that stood for America first. Whether you like his tweets or not, whether you like the guy or not, you got to look back at the guy's job performance, and you got to look back at what he did. That's how you determine a good person. Whether you like their personal life or not, That has absolutely nothing to do with the job that they are doing. Whether you like their tweets, whether you like their personal beliefs, that has absolutely nothing to do with the job that somebody is doing. When we can get over people's personalities. I used to be a general manager at different dealerships. There were people that I wouldn't go out and have a beer with, but didn't mean that I didn't respect their job. And when you look at a president, you have got to look at the job and what they have done. We had a president, America first, fracking, building, making America better, bringing jobs back into the United States, actually holding other countries accountable for what was going on. Did we go to war? No. Why? We didn't go to war because guess what? The other countries were scared of what a man who said promises made, promises kept would do. We had a president with a backbone that didn't stand down, that didn't take threats. So where do you want to build that better? Joe Biden, do they have a spying operation that you can go get? That's what it meant to me when he said build back better. So you're going to think of America first. You're going to bring jobs back to America. You're going to keep our pipelines going. You're going to keep our economy up. You're going to close our borders and secure our safety and stop human trafficking. You're going to fix some of the issues that weren't fixed before because it was a Democratic House. None of that happened. We have a president who doesn't remember where he's at. We have a person representing the United States who can't remember what his last meal was, let alone where he's at. As much as everybody wants to complain about Donald Trump, good or bad, if you like the man or not, you have got to respect the work and the ability to put America first over anything else. That's what we need to do now. We need to take over the House. We need to get Nancy Pelosi out of office. We need to get all their power taken away so that we can start rebuilding America for a better future. That's where we're at, folks. This mid-election in June is probably one of the most severe and important elections that we had, and you hear that all the time when there's an election cycle. It was being said when Donald Trump was running for office against Joe Biden, and what happened? Did it affect us? Every election affects us. And everybody's saying, I'm not going out and I'm not voting because fraud or whatever. Get that out of your head. You need to go out, you need to place your voice, and you need to go and vote. No ands or buts about it. You need to go out and you need to vote. You need to vote in person. If you get a mail-in ballot, hold on to it. Go down to the polls, drop it off yourself. Take the tracking number. Make sure that your vote counted. We have a lot of work to do in this country. And it starts with each and every single one of us on election day going out and voting. It starts with each and every single one of us every day that we hear somebody that we like sharing and liking their videos and getting their name out. Because name exposure is something that can't be bought. It needs to be given. And it needs to be given by each and every single one of us by liking and sharing and getting their name out to the rest of the people out there so that they actually understand who is running for office, what they're running for. It starts with each and every single one of us getting involved. Getting involved in walking precincts and letting people know, putting yard signs out, talking about the harsh subjects that nobody wants to talk about. And that's where we're at today. Let's talk about some of the harsh subjects. And let's not talk about key words that people use because it's a shame. We talked about it last week about medical freedom. Yet, people talk about medical freedom, yet nobody showed up to the hearing for AB 1400 in Sacramento. You had a handful of people who cared enough. Yet, everybody who's running for office talks about medical freedom. They have these big, huge rallies. Next time you see them, ask them, what exactly does medical freedom mean to you? And why were you not in Sacramento for the hearing on AB 1400, which will cost the California taxpayers $200 billion a year. So it's going to increase our taxes. So what exactly do you stand for? And if they can't break down the good and the bad of a bill, you might want to look for a new candidate to stand behind. Doesn't matter how much you think they're great. They don't know what they're doing and they don't know their job. And our job is to know the bills that are coming in front of us. Our job is to know how it affects each and every single one of you and us every day that we get up in the morning. For example, the tax bill. How many elected officials actually got out there and told you exactly what it meant? A vote yes meant that they were going to raise your tax. A vote no meant that your gas tax was going to go up. A vote yes meant that they wouldn't do it. Yet nobody ever explained that to us. But these are the people that we elected into office. You want to make a difference? You want to build back this country better? Build back your representation. The people who are standing in front of you. The people who have your back and are your voice. Build them back. Bring those people into office. And you'll see a change in this country. You'll see a change in the state. But if you want to sit back and say, I do not want to vote because voter fraud, keep making excuses on why we're in the same place that we are now. Because we didn't have the turnout for the special election to recall Gavin Newsom. We didn't have the people out there going out there and voting. We had half the population that are registered voters go out and vote. How would you expect to win anything? Stop listening to the propaganda, start listening to the person. Start liking and sharing the candidate's information and let everybody know whether they're running in your district or not. Why? Because that might motivate somebody in your district to get off their ass and actually do what we hired them to do. What does build back California or build back America, build back our country? What does that look like to you, and what does that mean? We talk about school choice, and I'm bringing this up because a lot of candidates are going out there talking about school choice. You guys hear it everywhere we go. I'm for school choice. I am. I believe that you should be able to pick where you take your child to school. But I'm going to tell you something that I believe in better. I believe in fixing the education system in this state and in this country so every kid gets the best education allowed. Not just some kids because you got to that school and you register your kid first, but I'm talking about every single young adult, every single kid. They should have trade schools back in elementary school all the way to high school. Our kids should be able to get out of high school with an ability to have a job. Trade schools need to come back to the United States, and we really need to bring them back to California because guess what? Not all of us are meant to go to college, but all of us should have an opportunity to make a great living and be able to provide for our families, and that's being denied right now to a lot of us, to a lot of our kids. And if we cannot work together, this will never happen. Sexuality shouldn't be taught in schools. That's not about school choice, folks. Okay, let's just get this straight. This isn't about school choice. This is about education choice. Our educators are choosing what they want to teach our kids. Our legislature is letting them, and we're standing by yelling school choice. Do you think that if you take them to a better school, they're not going to get taught the same thing? Let's wake up. Let's wake up and come together and talk about school choice, but let's talk about education. Let's talk about rebuilding our education platform in the United States, in California, and let's make all our schools our choice. Why? Because we deserve it. Our kids deserve it. Our grandkids. Our kids are our future. You want to know how you destroy a country? You destroy their future. Guess what's going on? They're destroying our future. Our generation might not see this right now because we're talking about retirement. We're talking about where we're going to live the rest of our lives. We're talking about how are we going to sit here and figure out how to make it next week and pay rent. We're not thinking about our kids who can't go outside and change their tire, who pumping gas seems to be like a chore. We're talking about our kids who, I'm going to say 50% of kids that are able to drive don't even have a learner's permit. What happened? Well, first of all, they took driver's ed out of schools where they started making parents having to pay for it, right? Cost somebody almost $500, $600 right now for their kids to be able to get their licenses. How many parents could actually afford that? Because they took that out of schools. Because I remember being in school, and after school, you got to go drive on a school car, remember? How many of you guys remember those days? Now, if you're a parent and your child's getting their driver's license, you have to pay. And then they have all these rules all of a sudden that your kid ain't driving until they're 18 anyways. They're destroying this country's future. And they're doing it right in front of our eyes, and we're allowing it. Because we ask for school choice. We don't ask for better education. We don't ask and we don't demand where our tax dollars are going and why I have to drive my kid from one side of town to the other to go to a better school. Why is that? Why not ask that candidate, why aren't you standing for better education? Why are you making me drive across town and take my kid to one school, two schools that are the best two in the district? Okay, how many kids are in the school district? How many kids fit in two schools? What happens to the rest of the kids? So just because you didn't get up early enough, because you didn't go and register them early enough, your kid gets a lousy education because there's no other school to take him to. America, wake up. California, wake up. It's not about school choice. School choice is a great punchline. But what exactly does school choice mean? You already have the right to take your kid out of school and put him in a private school. You already have the right to move districts so you go to a better district. So what is school choice? What is school choice going to fix? Absolutely nothing for 80% of our kids. So 20% get the best education. 20% get to go to the Ivy League schools, right? What about the other 80%? Because we didn't have gas money to cross town to try to put our kids in a better school. Because we couldn't afford that neighborhood. Our kids get a lack of education. America, wake up. Let's talk about the real challenges. Let's talk about what's really going on. Education. Holding our teachers accountable. The school districts, the school boards. Let's get trade schools back. Let's start trade schools back at junior high. When I was at Rhoda Junior High, which is South Sacramento, which is right back to one of the areas where we grew up, that's the district I'm running in, so I understand the district. I understand the schools. They had trade schools. I was in workshop. I was in metal shop. If I wanted to learn how to cook, they had a cooking class. They had drama classes. They had something that when you left junior high to high school, you already knew where you wanted to go. I know kids from my generation that are adults now that own their own businesses because of what they learned in high school. No, they didn't go to college. Yet they have a successful mechanic shop up the road and they're making a great living for their family. That's the American dream. That's what education should be about. Not about what sex you want to be. Not about your sexuality. Not about your religion. Not about what color your skin is. No CRT. And it's a shame. In my district, District 7 that I'm running, February 3rd, if you're in my district, if you're not in my district, but you're a concerned parent, I need you to show up to the school board meeting with me. I need you to support me when I tell the teachers where they can go teaching our kids, doing an assignment about what happened January 6th at the Capitol and how that was bad and how those people should spend the rest of their lives in prison. This is an assignment a teacher did. I have the chalkboard. I am going to put pictures of this when I go to the school board. I am going to expose it. It is a shame. Why isn't that teacher teaching about First Amendment, freedom of speech? Why isn't she teaching about the Constitution of the United States? Why isn't she teaching about the history of the United States or math? Why is she sending your kids to make an assignment and write a letter to these folks who are arrested, telling them how bad people they are? Why isn't this teacher out there talking about Black Lives Matter and destroying and how destroying property is wrong? You want to get in current affairs, be right and be down the middle because that's what a teacher should be. Your political party should never influence your job. And I don't know what happened to America. I don't know what happened to us. And it's almost a shame. Because there was a time when you said hello to your neighbor. There was a time when you took your coworker after work and you had a beer and you hung out. There was a time where nobody knew what political party you belonged to and nobody cared. There was a time when political parties sat down and talked about the issues and fixed it. There was a time when our government cared about Americans first and not their own political parties. You want to build back America? Build back your neighborhoods. I believe in God. I just don't believe that God needs to be in every video I make. I believe that if you want to have God in your life, you start at home. You don't wait till Sunday. You don't wait till your kid goes to school and hope that the school teacher did a prayer with them. You want to bring God in your life? Bring him at home. Say a prayer with your kids before they go to school every day. Say a prayer at night. Sit down and have something that we don't have anymore. Even if it's once a week, it's called family dinner. And when you have family dinner, say a prayer. Encourage your kids to go to church. Encourage your kids to stay in church. Church is private. Our religion should be private. Do I believe in God? I do. I believe in God, the Holy Spirit, and his Son. I also believe that there's a place for that in my life, and it's in my heart. It's in my house. And that's where it needs to be. And I need to act like a godly man when I go out. I need to do the right things. That's what God means to me. Going out and being the best that we can be to our neighbors. Being the best person we can be for our society to make it better. Doesn't mean that every time I get on stage or I get on a video, we have got to talk about this. I also believe that we could keep talking about school choice as a punchline, because that's all it is. Candidates who are talking about school choice, doing school choice rallies, what are they actually getting you? What are they actually giving you? Next time you see a candidate and he says school choice, say exactly what do you call school choice? Because what I want is better education. I want my child not to have to move districts, not to move anywhere else to get the best education around. Can you do that? Can you actually pressure the school boards? Can you actually pressure these people to give us the best education? Because the school choice sounds great for 80% of our kids. For 20% of our kids, what about the other 80%? What happens to them? Let's have some coffee. I actually agree with you. We are about 30 years late on school choice. Now it's education choice. Getting our education in the right place, because our kids are our future. And they're ruining our future by getting to our kids. And we're idly standing by, watching it happen, talking about school choice. When I get into Congress, I'm going to propose a law that if you take your child to a private school, at the end of the year, your state should refund you your taxes that you paid for that public school that your kid had absolutely nothing to do with. Also, they should actually do that for single parents who don't have kids. They're paying for a school district, they're paying school district taxes for nothing because their kids, they don't have any, aren't enjoying any of it. What about the parents who choose their kids' education over anything and they pay for private schools? Those parents should be refunded their tax money that they pay for a public school that their kids never use. Let's get down to the real issues when we talk about education. Let's stand up and let our voices be heard. February 3rd, I will put everything out as the day gets closer. I'm going to put the teacher's name. I'm actually going to put the pictures of her board where it says, and it gives you the instructions of what you're supposed to do. It's time that we unite and expose bad teachers, expose the bad education system in our country, and start working and rebuilding our education system for the best of anywhere. Each child, doesn't matter where you come from, where you grew up, what neighborhood, deserves the best education in the world. And we, as parents, need to start making sure that it is done. It doesn't matter what neighborhood you come from. It doesn't matter how much you can afford. Education, we are all paying for it right now. Also in Congress, I'm going to try to move a motion These are the things that I'm promising to do. I'm going to bring it up that once your property is paid off, you should no longer have to pay property taxes. If you're 65 and older and you're retired and you're not making a mortgage payment, you should not have to pay property taxes on something you paid for 30 years over. Property taxes should go away once you pay off the property. That's like saying that you're paying taxes on purchasing your vehicle, even after you did it. The way they're getting us on that is registration. We talked about AB 339, which is going to tax us per mile. It's another thing we have to get rid of. We have got to get freedom back. And we're losing it every cycle, every election. We're losing the freedom to build America better. We're losing the freedom to build a better life. There's nothing worse than watching the U-Hauls leave California, the most beautiful state there is. Yet people are leaving. Technology's leaving. Big corporations are leaving because they're getting taxed to death. When we talked about AB 1400, we talked about employers getting taxed because they have over 50 or 50 employees. Those companies are going to leave California and still do business in California and get away from all the loopholes in California. We are allowing our legislation to destroy the state inch by inch. And we're standing idly by. And the worst part is this. You have an assemblyman or assemblywoman. Well, they did this good, so if they did that bad law, it's okay. It's never okay. It's not what we hire them for. We hire them to be our voice for what's best for all of us, not what's best for their interest right now. We can talk about the vaccination. We can talk about the mandates. A federal judge already told Joe Biden that he does not have the right to mandate any employer to make their 100 employees have vaccinations. Look it up. It's there. They do not have the right to do that. Now, it's kind of like a drug test. If that's what they're saying that you need to be employed there, that's a personal choice that each and every single one of you guys should take. Me, my job right now doesn't require it. Would I do it if my job required it or if I didn't have a job? I don't know, because I haven't been faced with that. Yet my mom, on the other hand, she's here today. She told me I'm getting ready to get my next booster. And I looked at her. She said, well, some places where I work will not allow me to work if I don't have it. She said, and I'm not in a place where I could just say, I can afford not to do that job. I said, so you made a choice? She said, yes, I made the choice. I can respect that. Not my choice, but it's her choice. And it's her right to be able to do that. The same way as these folks' right to ask her if she's been vaccinated and give her a job or not. That's a freedom, and that's a choice. That's the way it should be treated, not mandated. Our kids going to school with the stupid mask on? To do what? Our kids' immune systems are some of the best. If you feel your kid should wear a mask, put a mask on your kid. But if you feel your kid shouldn't wear a mask, you shouldn't have to. Just like the Buckeye family in Placer, El Dorado County, where they're standing in front of the schools every week protesting. Yet now they have criminal cases against them because they send their kids to school and the school sends them home, and now the school's saying that they don't go to school. And these folks are now having to go in front of a judge and explain what's going on. They have a fundraiser coming on later on this month, and I'm going to actually re-put it back out there so that you guys can all help participate. I know it's at Wally's Pizza Bar and Grill, and what that's going to do is going to help these folks with their lawyer fees that they're going to need. But these folks are standing out there every day, Monday through Thursday, executing their freedom, letting that school board know that it isn't right what they're doing. And they're going to fight it in court. And they need our help because they can't financially be able to do it on their own. And because they're fighting for us, we should all be out there helping them do this. I want to say good morning to everybody who's joining me. There's just a lot of comments coming on through here, so I can't respond to each and every single one of them, but I will. And I'm kind of glancing at them, so I'm trying to hit every subject that we're talking about. Anybody asking about folks in restaurants who prepare our foods if they have hepatitis? That's a good question. See, our medical freedom should be kept private, right? Isn't that what it was? Our medical freedom, our medical choice? Isn't that what it's supposed to be? Yet nobody ever talks about it, right? Nobody ever talks about that's what medical freedom really is. Yet they use it as a punchline. For all you folks who were forced, or you felt you were forced for getting the vaccination, only thing I can say is I'm sorry. I respect your decision for doing it if you needed it to keep a job, though. Just like I said, my mom did it because she needed to keep her job. I can only respect her for doing that and making that decision for her to actually get the vaccination. Me personally, I'm not doing it. I have my own reasons why. And I'm not going to tell somebody whether they should or they shouldn't. What I'm going to tell you is this: I stand for freedom of choice. I think that we need to bring energy back into our country. I think America needs to be first. I think California needs to be first. I think that we need to start sitting here and figuring out how to have a better future. Let me ask you guys this. And this is simple. What is the American dream? Have we lost that concept? Does the American dream still exist? Can our kids actually live the American dream? Have you asked your kids? What do they think the American dream is? Those are conversations that are kind of hard to have, but are some of the conversations that we need to have with our kids. We need to ask our kids, what do you feel the American dream is? Is it the same thing that you thought the American dream was? What is the American dream to you? Are you living it? Do you have somebody who represents you in government that will help you live your American dream? This is all the stuff that we took for granted, our generation. Our generation took this for granted. We were able to get a trade school when we were going through high school, junior high, remember? Auto shop, wood shop, cooking classes, drama. We were able to look and say, hey, when I grow up, I want to be a police officer. I want to be a firefighter. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer. Do you guys remember those days? How many of you guys have actually sat down and asked your kids, what are you looking like for the future? My kids told me, I hope I can afford an apartment, because otherwise I'm going to be living with you for the rest of my life. And they're right. Our cost of living, especially in California, has gone through the roof for no reason. Why is it that other states pay $2 a gallon in gas and we're paying over $5.50 a gallon? Bad management, bad representation, bad decisions being made by the people who we hired. I'll go back to the beginning. We're going to just kind of circle back. You want to build America great again? You want to build back better? Starts today. Starts today. Starts by making that decision that you're going to get behind the right candidates, no matter what your party tells you. Because this isn't about parties anymore. California, America, both parties have failed each and every single one of us in every aspect. If they hadn't failed us, people wouldn't be leaving California. If they hadn't failed us, people wouldn't be trying to figure out where to go and how to make a living. We worry about third world countries, that they have kids that are dying, not eating. Go out your front door. Go to that part of town that you probably never go to. Shouldn't we worry about America first? Shouldn't we worry about the people who are here? Shouldn't we worry about our veterans who are sleeping outside because we turned our back on them, but we're worried about Afghanistan, Saudi Arabia? With our money, with what we make, we send them billions and billions and billions of dollars. Yet we can't do nothing about the homeless. We can't worry about little Joe here who hasn't ate in 3 days. Yeah, he's trying to go to school, and now even school lunches they're trying to charge these kids for. talking about school choice. Let's talk about freedom. Let's talk about the reality of our education is in the toilet. It's not about school choice, folks. School choice is a great punchline, but that's all it is. Because from personal experience, if they told me you could home teach your kids and I'll give you $500 per kid, or we're going to send you the money and you get to pay the school that you chose, yet the rent's due today. You got a 3-day notice. You got the money to pay for the school, or you have the money to pay the rent and keep a roof over the whole family's head. I would never want to have to make that choice. And I would never want another American to ever have to make that choice. So sending a check to the parents is a mistake. That's going to kill our future. See, they took that school choice crap and they turned around where it benefits them. School choice is a punchline. Better education, holding our education accountable for what's coming out of their schools. Teaching our kids a trade school in school. So when they get out of high school, they actually know how to do something to make a living. And for all of us who are out of high school already, who are find ourselves lost, get trade schools available for these folks to be able to go in and get a job. Take welfare to work again and make it a mandate where you have to go to work or a trade school to get government assistance. If you don't pay $1 into taxes, why should you be able to receive Social Security? That's happening every day. People are coming from other countries that are sick. They're going into our hospitals here. They've never been Americans. They're not even American citizens. They're just here on vacation. And then all of a sudden they're getting put in the Social Security system. And we are paying the bill. We are flipping the bill. Yeah, they want to charge us $200 billion more in taxes so that we can have medical. We're already paying for medical. Let's get the right people who pay to be able to get out of what they need. Let's stop what we're doing here. Let's live the American dream of freedom. Let's live the Constitution the way it was written. Our Second Amendments are being trampled on all the time. Yet nobody's saying anything about it unless it's an election year or they need your money. Other than that, you don't hear them battling for the Second Amendment. You don't hear them talking about freedom of speech, your First Amendment. People who paid 30 to 40 years have to fight to even get their SSI and disability. I understand that and I agree and I believe that that's BS. But we have to fix the system. How do you fix the system? Get behind real candidates. Get behind the people that care. Get behind the people that live this just like you do. It's not always about the money. It's about the schools of hard knocks and understanding the everyday American and the everyday living that we have to do and we have to deal with. It's about real people coming up with real solutions, not career politicians who forgot what it's like to go to the grocery store themselves. Not about these career politicians who've been in office for 30, 40, 50 years that haven't done nothing for you or me. And that goes for both parties. I know the Republican Party doesn't like it when I say that, but it's the truth. We have more rhinos than real Republicans in office. It's just the way I feel. I am who I am. My values and my beliefs will always stand where they do. We need to be independently when it comes to energy, especially in California and in the United States. How come we're getting oil from other countries when we can have it here? Why do we shut down our pipeline, yet nobody in Congress made us think about it? Why aren't we pressing our president to reopen the pipelines, to get fracking going again? Why are we just standing idly by when there's biofuel, nuclear, hydro, and so many other different places that do this? That's why I share your campaign and Daniel's too, my social media, so they are awake and see. And we appreciate it. Both me and Daniel Mercury, I'll speak for him today. We appreciate everybody sharing our videos and sharing our campaigns and getting our names out. I know Daniel very well. He's a good guy, and his heart's in the right place. My decision to go into Congress was a financial decision, not because I don't care about California, not because I don't think that we can make a better California, but because I learned something on the campaign trail. It takes a lot of money to get a lot of exposure. And the people that we call friends and the people that are supposed to support you usually don't. I was at a Central Committee meeting on the 10th, and there was a person speaking, and I'm not going to mention his name, and he said, you need to give money to your central committees. You need to give money to the CRA, CPA, GOP. And somebody stood up and said, why? You guys don't do what we ask. You don't back real candidates. And where does the money really go? Because the money doesn't go to our local candidates. And that is true. It doesn't. They handpick who they want. So somebody like me and Daniel can really appreciate people sharing and liking our videos because that's our work. And that's what we get. And we ask you to keep doing it. Why? Because that's how we get out. That's how our messages get out. It's not because the Central Committee, the Republican Party, the CRA, or any of those people gave us money like they're supposed to. No, they picked their candidates and that's who they stand behind. And that's not the way it should be. The reality is the Republican Party should stand behind every candidate and help every candidate in their district. But it doesn't work that way. Because if you're a Republican, you're in office right now, the Republican Party is going to do whatever it takes to back you and keep you there, whether you're a rhino or not. We need to start making a difference. And that's why candidates like myself, Daniel Mercury, and all these patriot candidates need a light, need a stage, and need your help so we can get in there and make differences. Why? Because we know what it takes. Not only that, we also have your support. That means that we better get into office and listen to everything you have to say. In my last video in Spanish, I said this and I'll say it again to each and every single one of you. I have people from different states watching my videos and I appreciate it. I have people from around the world actually go back and watch these videos. I'm going to make each and every single one of you a promise. When I get into Congress, I don't care what state you're from. You need somebody to hear you out and help you. I will be that ear. I will help anybody that it benefits the American people. I will take the time. I will listen to you. And I will try to work with your representation to try to make sure that we get what's best for you. And I don't care what party you're from. Because guess what? We're American people. And that's what Congress is. We are a representation of the American people. And it doesn't matter whether you're in my district, the district next door, or in a different state. As a congressman, my job is to help and do what's best for the American people. My name is Diego Martinez. I am running for Congress in the 7th District. Yolo, South Sacramento, Elk Grove, and Gulf. Come out and support me. Come out and join me. Come out and let your friends know. Whether they're Democrats or Republicans, independents or libertarians, it doesn't matter. I want to be everybody's candidate because that's what we need in California and in the United States. We need people who are going to stand up for us. I am no longer running for governor of California. I am actually going to withdraw my papers this week, and I will have my papers by Tuesday filed for District 7, Congress, and that's Yolo, Southern Sacramento, Elk Grove, and Gulf. My run for governor has came to a financial decision that we know that we cannot pull what we need to be able to be competitive in that arena. Yet I believe in the California people, and I believe that this is what's best for me at this moment, to be able to represent the people of my state and be able to fight and do what we need to do. Whether we would have won or not, we just don't have the money at this moment to be able to put up a fight. I ran the recall, and it was a great experience. I want to thank everybody who supported me in that run. I want to thank all the Women's Federation, all the CRA places, everybody who hosted me, who allowed me to speak, It was my honor to actually be able to be there and speak to each and every single one of you and meet a lot of you out there. That was an honor for me to be able to do. It was an honor to be able to talk and speak in front of thousands of you guys in front of the Capitol. And I can remember how many rallies and how many recall Newsom booths and people I met for that year and a half. I want to thank each and every single one of you guys. And I wish I could, but this is about the best way I can. And I'm going to ask for your support in my run for Congress, District 7 in California, because we need a real voice in Washington. We see it from other states. We see that other states have real voices, whether we like them or not. You always talk about Ted Cruz, who's a senator. You talk about Margaret Taylor Greene. We talk about Gates. We talk about, you pick it, John Paul. Where's our California representation during all this? How come we don't hear congressmen from California stand up for California? Help me get into Congress and we will have that voice. Not only will we have a voice for California, we'll have a voice for the other states in America, because that is what Congress is about, helping make America better again. And not with this administration, but with the real people in there. I want to thank each and every single one of you for joining me today and Waking Up California. I'll see you guys next week. If you'd like to donate to my campaign, please go to Diego Martinez for Governor right now. We're doing a name change. Hit the donate button. That goes all into my campaign. I need your help to be able to do this. Thank you guys very much. I'll see you guys next week.